Hello and welcome to another midday show, the Life Mastery Show with me, Adrian Hanks. So, absolutely fantastic. It is Boxing Day here in Australia. So, not quite sure how many people are going to be present here today and how many other people are going to be still indulging in that Christmas energy. But if you are jumping on, then welcome. I can see there's a little star coming up. There's a couple more coming in. So absolutely fantastic. So the first thing I'm going to ask of you, if I may, is can you hear me well? Can you see me well? And if you can, please just type in, yes, Merry Christmas, Adrian. We can see you and hear you clearly. Hi, Angela. So if you can let me know. Hi, Shazza, Holly. So just let me know if you can see me and hear me clearly. That'll be absolutely fantastic. So Merry Christmas. Thank you, Angela. Yes, you can. So absolutely welcome to you all on this Boxing Day. Whatever your religious belief is, whatever you follow, I'd just like to tune in today from that spiritual perspective of one of the greatest spiritual teachers on the planet at the time of that being that is known as Jesus or Jeshua, and tuning into a bit of that energy today, tuning into the Jesus birth energy. And as I was sharing yesterday, quite funnily, we sort of disname, we don't really name the festivity very well because it's the birth of Jesus. And, you know, from that historical perspective, Jesus did not become the Christ being until the age of 33. So it's sort of more Jesus-mus than Christmas because it's not quite Christ until a later age. But anyway, this is the name we have. So just quite a funny thing. So I just want to tune in for a moment, just in terms of that energy of rebirth, the energy of the birth of Jesus. You know, one of the greatest teachers ever on the planet, as was Buddha and Zoroaster and many other, and Abraham and many other leaders who came down and to give us some wisdom, to give us some understanding of what it might be to become a better human being. And there's some great things that the leaders and these teachers have brought us, and it's about tuning into that energy. So hi, Hunter, Rachel, Sonia, Diane, Angela, Teresa, Holly, Cherie, Shazza. Anybody else is jumping on? Hello, 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 hello. So this is about tuning into birth and, if you like, rebirth. And what I want to bring today for you to share with you today and to get you to ask questions on is about rebirthing into this new energy of 2020. Moving forward. So next week, you know, we break into another cycle, into another numerical cycle, 2020, which is a 4 numerically, which is all about foundation. So creating new, strong, powerful foundations in that term of the fourness, the stability of 4 in the 2020. And of course, then we have 2020 vision. So 2020 energetically is going to be quite a powerful year for stabilizing and building foundations. And for those who already have foundations, it's about building upon those foundations in another deeper level. So let's just tune into that today. Let's tune into the sense of birthing and rebirthing. And my question to you is, what do you want to birth in 2020? What's the new birth for you? Physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, sexually, intimately, financially, vocationally, in your relationship? What's the new birthing for you? And the next question is, where you're a little bit stuck, where you're a bit stale, where you're a bit fearful, where you're a bit doubtful in bringing forth that rebirth or that new birth for you in 2020. So if you want to pose a question, if you want to ask a question, then please do type it in below. Remember, I don't do the psychic work where I'm tuning into that higher level and giving answers from that perspective. Yep. I give you answers from the perspective of my skills and insights and experience in psychotherapy and coaching and counseling and mentoring. Yeah. So she has a health. So you want to take health forward in 2020. And we've had a few conversations, Shazza, about going forward in that health space. And let's get really specific today. Let's get really specific on what it is you want to birth in 2020. What's the new focus? What's the new paradigm for you? And it's really good to focus on that, getting really clear on the vision for 2020. And what I love doing, what I help people is creating the vision, then getting the plan, and then putting it into action. So VPA, vision, plan, action. Vision, plan, action. So it's about creating the vision first and then putting the plan into place and then putting the action. And if you're just going to sit and think it, it's not enough. If you think you're going to get healthy, it's not enough. If you think you're going to get more wisdom, it's not enough. If you think you're going to change your finances, it's not enough. If you think you're going to have a better relationship, it's not enough. You've got to put that vision and thinking into process and make a plan around it. And plan it for a daily process. What are you going to do every single day to work on that thing? And then how are you going to put that into action and keep that action going? And I know from my own experience, and you know this too, that when you have that mentor, when you have that coach, when you have that psychotherapist or counselor to help you through the process, it generally happens. Because what often happens, New Year's Eve is coming up, people make New Year's resolutions. They're going to do this or do that, or not do this or not do that. And by the end of February, 90% of those people that made a promise to themselves, made that conviction, fail. It doesn't go any further than February. Usually lasts a couple of weeks at most. But those that get the coaching in place, get the mentoring in place, get the support in place, they go through the whole 12 months and actually make the changes. I know that for myself because that's what I do myself. And I do that with my clients. I do that with my students. And those that don't come on board, I speak to them after February and it's like, how are you going with stopping smoking or improving your relationship or getting this or getting that? And they go, stopped again. How many years have you been doing that? Oh, several years now. So let's make a change this year. Let's get this going for you this year. Make the commitment to work with somebody this year. Hopefully it's me, but if it's not, I can certainly recommend others too. So let's have a look. Angela, I'm planning to do the 5 a.m. club to help with mental clarity. See, fantastic. So get in there, get up, do the 5 a.m. work. If it works for you, all well and good, but make the plan. What do you want to actually do out of that? Yep. Yeah, Alice and I had a great day yesterday. We spent time with friends and we were playing didge and playing guitar and singing and eating food and playing quoits and having a really great time. And then we ended up singing some carols in my friend's house, and it was just beautiful. So yeah, I hope you had a beautiful day too, Alison and everybody else. So Rachel, recognizing when it's time to let go. I often feel I hang on for a tad too long if it's my heart, even when my head says it's time. So it's a really important here, Rachel. That's actually a good thing you've put up here, because what I suggest to people is, don't just go into the heart work or the head work or the limb work. It's actually a combination of all of them. It's about thinking through the process, feeling into the process, and then actually getting into the limbs, into the courage in doing. So I always say, we think it, we feel it, we do it. We think it, we feel it, we do it. We think it, we feel it, we do it. It's a bit of a song, a bit of a dance. Because if you're just stuck in one of those paradigms, the thinking, the feeling, or the doing, and you're not engaging in the other one or the other two, then things are out of balance because it's not holistic. There's a lot of people out there doing cognitive therapy without much empathy or heart and without much doing. And it works to a degree. And there's a lot of people in there in that heart space, come into your heart and let's do everything from the heart. And they forget the head and the will and the limbs. So they're stuck in the heart. So there's not much doing. It's a bit ethereal when it stays in the heart space, in the love space. Love is great, but if there's no action in love and there's no thinking through love, it's also not holistic. It's all about people doing, like people say, yeah, get out and run the marathon, get out and run the marathon, get out and run the marathon, and just do it. Well, that's all well and good, but you have to think through it. You have to think through the process. You have to plan it, How am I going to run the first little bit? What sort of gear do I need? What sort of nutrition do I need? What sort of coaching do I need? That's thinking. And then feeling into it, the feeling of running. So think it, feel it, do it. And when you put all those components together, then things tend to happen. Yeah, because they've all got different energies. But when they're combined, it's very, very powerful. So for you, Rachel, recognizing when it's time to let go. Yeah, and it is about letting go. And when is it time to let go? And oftentimes we don't let go because of fear, because of doubt. So when is it time to let go of things? It's a really good question. And the question is, what is it you want to let go of? Like getting clear on that, getting specific on that. Yeah, I want to let go of that, but what is that? What is that thing? So firstly, it's about getting clear on the thing you want to get rid of, and then recognizing why you want to get rid of it. So you visualize it, you plan it, and then you take the action to actually get rid of it. Yeah, really good process. So it's all about writing it down. Yeah, so if your head is saying it's time, what's your heart saying? It's always a question. Then what does your courage say? What does the limb system say? What does the will say? Is it time to break through as well? So have a think, have a feel, and have a go. Yeah. Yeah, Karina, I had an amazing Christmas day, and it's just great to be here on Boxing Day and in Australia's Boxing Day already. In the UK, people are just, I think, beginning, what is it? Yeah, beginning to wake up a little bit, and the early risers, and the very early risers, and and obviously in places like America, they're still some of them probably still in their Christmas day because they are 14 or 15 hours behind. So these time frame things are a bit strange and a bit weird. So yeah, all good, Rachel. Yeah, it's really clear to get on that thinking, that feeling, and on that will process. Particularly as we go into 2020, I want to stick to that topic a little bit today about rebirthing and creating something new and having a birth into something. So, what do you want to birth in 2020? What are you birthing? And I'll share a couple of births that I'm birthing. I've got a couple of things on the go. I've actually, over the last 3.5 years, been writing my novel and getting that edited and ready. And I'm about to talk to a potential publisher in a few weeks' time. And my big birth in 2020 is going to be that novel. A lot of my energy over the next 3 months, the first quarter, is going to go right into that novel. Because I know if I produce that novel, if I get that novel published and out into the world, it's going to be quite a life change for me on many, many levels. Professionally, financially, in terms of my travel, my engagements, my public speaking, and sharing that book with people, doing book launches, book signings. Because what the plan I have for that, the vision I have for that is huge. It's absolutely huge. I'm calling it my airport novel, where people walk into the airport, and you see all those books in the airport, and I want mine to be the number one seller in that airport space, where people just pick it up and get on the plane and read it, get on the plane and read it. And that's my vision for that. And my plan is being executed really slowly over the last few months. And now I'm in the next stage of that planning, is to talk to the potential publisher and then see if that's the right fit for me and get the marketing right and get the sales right. So that's all in the planning. And then it's about taking action, actually getting out there and promoting it and getting it done and speaking and doing the book launches and all those different things. So the VPA, the vision, the plan, and the action will come together for that. The other thing is I've produced a little game. It's a beautiful little two-person game. And that's going to be launched as well in 2020. So talking to a lawyer at the moment to get all the legalities right for that, and then looking for a game manufacturer and then putting that out. So a couple of big things for me in 2020. I've got a few other things as well in terms of travel and work and financial education and some workshops I want to deliver. I'm also going to Africa in August, September in 2020. So I've got a big year ahead of me. But it all took visualizing, it all took planning, and now it's taking action. So really important to get clear. So they're my things. And I haven't got much room for much else. I have room here every Thursday at midday. That's in my diary. I've actually just gone on to Google my Google Calendar, and I filled in all my Thursdays in there. Ding, 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 ding. Life Mastery Show all the way through the year, and I get my warning ding in the morning to remind me. And I've got a few other things, but they're my big things. So what are you doing? So what are you doing for yourself? Yeah, what are you doing for yourself? Let's have a look what people are saying. Yeah, don't take the old. It's look. I'm a baker by old, and when you make a sourdough, when you make a loaf of bread for sourdough, what you do, you take a piece of the old sourdough, because that's the culture. That's the piece that's going to blend and get the next piece going. And that goes into the freshness, the water, and the new flour. So you take a bit of the old, the good stuff, the stuff that's going to help the growth of the new stuff. So it's a bit like a sourdough to make a loaf of bread. Take some of the old culture, put it in with the new, and then it grows, and you make a loaf of bread, and you take a bit of the old culture, and you add to the new, and that goes on and on and on for years and years and years. Some sourdoughs are 20, 30, 50 years old because they've taken a little bit of the old and put it into the new. And that's how I like to see going into a new year. Take what I've learned from 2019 and previously, the good stuff, and put that into my culture to get the next year going as well. So you might want to get that into your mind as well. Yeah, love it. Thank you for inspiration. All good, Cody. I love inspiring. I love getting people going. But I said it's all about the thinking. It's all about the feeling. It's all about the doing and engaging all three. Really, really, really important. So are there any questions out there? Anybody got anything they're a little bit stuck on? you want some support to get back on track, or you may have a question that's not quite sitting right for you. You may have need to get an answer in some way. And remember, this is from coaching, mentoring, and psychotherapeutic process. It's not from downloading from spirit in terms of getting messages from the other side. It's not what I do on the show. So very happy to help in the capacity of support, but I don't do the psychic work on this show, just for that clarity as well. So let me have a sip of my drink while you might be thinking and typing away with your questions. Nice to have a cuppa. And just while you're on that, you might want to this is my journal that I've designed, and it's the Where Am I Right Now Life Aspects Journal. And you can see inside here, I've made it really easy. Yeah, really easy. So where am I right now? Physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, vocationally, sexually, intimately, financially, socially, creatively. And then what you do, you give yourself an overall average, and you measure your overall day's well-being, and you give it a percentage. And I suggest you do this in the evening, to ascertain how you've been during the day. And it gives you an idea of how your day's been on all those levels. Yeah, on all those levels. Yeah. And you fill it out and you just write a few little words each evening about each aspect of your life. And down the bottom here, you put the final little quote for yourself, little message for yourself. And then what you can do, you can go, well, today my day was a 36% day and it was pretty low, or my day was an 82% day. That's okay. And then after a few days, you get a sense of where you're not living up to that standard that you're setting yourself. And I call it the 80-20 principle, or the 90-10 principle. Whatever it is you set, and you'll see that some of them might bring you down a little bit. And then if one is letting you down a little bit, you can start to work on that to bring it up to that average. It's a really good self-evaluation process. And journaling is a very powerful tool. Very powerful tool. Yep. So you can see I write in my script here. I just fill it in. Yep. And then it's a really good way to stay focused on what one's doing. And I've made it easy. It can't be much easier. Just go to my website. You download the free version. Yep, free version, and then take it to somewhere, one of the printers, get it printed and bound for about $10. And there's 100 pages in there, 50 double-sided. So it costs you about $10 or something like that. And it's something that'll take you through 100 days. So about just over three or 4 months. So and then you just do another one. So Bernie, great question. How do you break old habits? So step number 1, you name the habit. Name the habit. Get really clear. What's the habit you're trying to break? Because habits are addictions. Yeah. Oh, well done, Shazza. Well done. And then start to use it, Shazza. So Bernie, how do you break old habits? Name the habit. My habit is smoking. And I want to stop smoking. So firstly, create what it is you want to break, what do you want to stop, what you want to change. And then you have to find something new to replace it. That's the essence. That is the essence. And the thing with any old habit that's a negative, any old addiction, it means that it's got power over you. Any old habit or addiction, so have a listen to what I'm saying here really clearly. Any old habit or addiction that's not serving you, and you're still doing it, has power over you. It means you're not in your presence. It means you're not in your highest aspect of your being. It means you've shrunk away. So eating the wrong food, and too much. So I'm going to come back to Anna in a moment, just for Bernie. So Bernie, name that habit and get clear on what that habit is. And then I'm just going to show you an image from my book. I'm a writer. I've published a few books, and one of them is the Where Am I Right Now book. And it's a personal development book to help people with questions in life. And on habits and addictions, you'll see I've got an image here. So, for instance, if you're smoking, this is the energy of it, the cigarette. It's huge. And the smoker is shrunk because you've lost your beingness, you've lost your sense of self. So what we need to do is grow that and shrink this. We've got to shrink the addiction, and build up our sense of self. And the only way, from my perspective of doing that, is to do all the work to build oneself up into that power. And I do that with specific tools and resources so that we build ourselves up so that we're bigger than, so we're stronger than, that we're more conscious than, that we have more power than. And in that space, you can actually stop. And I'll give you an example. I was with a lady a few years ago when I was down in Byron, so I'm going back about 7 years ago, and she wanted to be she was in the healing space. She was training to be a healer, and she was smoking. She said, look, I just want to stop smoking because when I'm with a client, one of the worst things is if you're with a client, particularly if they're close, massage therapy or energy work, and you stink of cigarettes, it's disgusting. It's horrible. Seriously, like if you're a smoker and you're in healing work, stop it. It's disgusting and it's horrible and it stinks. That is, I'm being really honest with you. It's disgusting. It's horrible. It really is. And there's one thing you need to stop is that smell of smoke going into somebody. It's invasive for them. It's just horrible. And if you're doing that, you're not a healer. Because if you're not looking after yourself, if you are smoking and you're trying to heal somebody else, then you're not in alignment. And you need to change that. I know I'm being a bit strong here, but seriously, get it out your system. Stop that smoking. It's yuck. Yeah. So you have to overpower it. You have to absolutely name the cigarette, name the power, become the power, see the power, paint the power, draw the power, clay the power. Know it, know the power. And then choose to do the work to overpower it. And that can be very challenging. Addictions are powerful because what they've done, they've replaced something, or they've come in place of something that's been missing. So usually it's the lack of self-confidence, the lack of self-love, some trauma that's happened in one's life, or we go to cover it up with something to mask it, because addiction is a mask. It's putting something in place of something else that should be there. And it's usually self-love, self-confidence, or something similar to that. I don't love myself enough because I'm smoking, because of course if you love yourself, you wouldn't smoke. So it's about finding that self-love. And from that space, you can stop. Yeah. So I hope that helps a little bit, Bernie. And if you want some supporting that, it's what I do. I do a lot of addiction, old habit changing with people. And I love that work. It's very powerful. And when you get into your power of breaking a habit, it's absolutely incredibly empowering. It's so good because it means that does not hold me anymore. I'm actually in control of my life. I'm in my life mastery. And this is what this show is all about. Teaching you to be a master of your life. And if you have a habit or an addiction that's in place, it means you're not in control of your life. You're not mastering your life. So it's time to get on top of it. And maybe this is the time. So you go into 2020 in a new energetic way, in the more mastery in your life. So you're not dictated by that old habit or that addiction. So eating the wrong food, Anna. So step number 1 is when you go shopping. When you go shopping, stop putting rubbish into your basket and into your trolley. Seriously, take a breath when you go shopping. Because what you're eating, I know we do takeaways and things too, but in terms of your own cupboard, your own larder, what you're putting in there and in your fridge, that's you doing that. So what are you putting in your fridge? What are you putting in your cupboard? So I'd suggest one thing I say to people, because I do this a lot, I do a lot of diet and nutrition work with people to get their body in shape, to get their mind in shape. The internal aspects of our being, get rid of the junk food, get rid of the rubbish. So the first question for me is it organic? Is it clean? Or is it full of poisons and chemicals and pesticides? Because most food is, if it's not organic, particularly certified organic. So one is where you're getting your food from. Do you need to go down a different aisle in the supermarket? Or do you need to go to a health food shop? And then what are you cooking and how are you cooking it? Can you get away from some of the cooking fats? Are you using organic olive oil? Are you using coconut oil? Are you steaming more? All those quite I'm coming back to 101 basic eating habits. And oftentimes when we eat too much, Anna, for everybody else, it's an emotional component. Loneliness, an addiction because you're covering something up. So looking at the emotional component is really important when you have a habit or an addiction. Why are you doing it? And this is where so I do the coaching and the mentoring, but I'm also a psychotherapist and counselor. So I get underneath the mindset as well. And that's really important because a lot of coaches miss the psychotherapeutic component. If somebody wants to lose weight, it's not just about changing the food diet, it's about the psychotherapy behind it, the psychology behind it. So there's a good mix to get into. So eating the wrong foods, Anna. So what are you eating that's wrong? Because you've used the word wrong. So you must know it's wrong. So if you know it's wrong, why are you still doing it? It means it's bigger than you. It has more power than you. That wrong food has more power. So how do you put the right food in? First thing is, naming the wrong food, getting rid of the wrong food, naming the right food and putting the right food in the fridge and in the cupboard and in your trolley and in your basket. And when you go out in the takeawaying, can you change what you're eating? And what's your measure? Are you into 80-20 principle or the 90-10 principle or the 95-5 principle? How do you want to be living your life? I like to do the 90-10 and, a little bit more if I can. So occasionally I'll have a few hot chips. Occasionally I'll have something. Yesterday I did indulge. I made 7 dozen mince pies for Christmas on Christmas Eve. And yesterday I probably ate a few too many mince pies because I don't do very well on wheat. And I did use, it's organic, clean wheat, because, where possible, organic. But I did overindulge and I can feel my belly's a bit bloated this morning. And it was like, yeah, I still let myself drop into that 80-20 principle rather than holding my 90-10, but it was enjoyable, it was fun, and I just, did a little bit. I didn't gorge on them. So I'd slipped a little bit, but I didn't slip a lot. So I was still conscious. Still ate, all organic food yesterday. I didn't get into the fizzy drinks yesterday. I stayed on juice because fizzy drinks are not good for me either. Carbonated water is not good for the body. So just little things like that about being aware of what's going on, even in celebration times. What's more important, my body or, slipping back into something I don't want to do. So really, really, really points. Yes, sweets, Anna. So what's missing in your life that's not sweet, that you're putting a sweet to replace the sweetness maybe? Could be a question. Because usually there's a correlation to what we eat to what we need. So where can you be sweeter on yourself? Where do you need to be sweet? Where do you need sweetness to come into your life? And have you had, sugar? Have you had blood test? Diabetes test. I mean, 1 in about 8 people I think now is some form of diabetes. I'm not saying you have it, but have you been checked? Have you, and I'm not. You don't have to go and get needled. You can check, energetically with a kinesiologist to see what your blood levels are, because it might be that you're needing some sugar and you're just overindulging. So there's many, many questions, but a thorough health check from a holistic perspective is always a good thing to do. Check it out with muscle testing if you need to. What sweets are good for me? Because I love marzipan. I got some marzipan for Christmas because it's my go-to nourishment emotional sweet. It's my childhood sweet. So when I'm feeling a bit flat and my emotions are down, it's my pick-me-up. So a little bar of marzipan or a chunk of marzipan over a few days is my go-to. So it's good for me emotionally. But I don't overindulge in marzipan. I don't eat it every single day. So find the sweet point, okay? So Kathy, I have adenocarcinoma, stage 4. What do you say? Okay, so carcinoma. So there's an interesting story, Kathy, around the cancer. I actually worked with Ian Gawler for several years down in Victoria at the Cancer Retreat Centre. And Ian had many carcinomas, and he was given a short time to live, and he's 40 years later he's still on the planet and he's doing his stuff. And it was back to healthy diet, healthy mind, meditation, taking stress out of one's life, getting the right thing for your body for you. You have to make the choices. We've just had a big cancer journey here with my partner, with Eileen, and what she found was certain things to help her. One is taking stress out. I'm probably one of her big stresses. I'm still here, but we're dealing with that one, just from a humorous perspective. But also CBD oil, cannabis oil. Have you tried that? Allopathic medicine. Sometimes if you need to go down down that space as well, it's about making the choices. Because what I find with cancer, it's an empowering journey to empower you to speak your truth of what you actually need in life. Yeah, really, really, really important for you to speak of what you need. Yeah. So what I would suggest is getting support, Kathy. If you want to talk to my wife Eileen, she's in that journey at the moment. There's some great Facebook meetup pages where people are chatting about their journey and supporting each other. We've also got connections to get some high quality biodynamic organic cannabis oil legal. He's actually a legal supplier, and other healers too can help in that process with different products and different healings. So if you want some support in that, Kathy, get your team. I don't know if you've got a team at the moment, but get your support team. get the people around you who can support you physically, also emotionally, mentally, and perhaps spiritually as well. Have you got that team around you? Really, really important. So I suggest get the team, and then get the support around you physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. Okay. So Cody, going to put my plan into place. 2020, I'm excited to get the most out of it, as 2020 was a huge transformative and cleansing year. Thank you, bless you, motivation. I feel as your inspiration for hearing another year. Inspiration is what I love doing. I love to inspire people to say, that was how it was. I don't have to stay in that space, and I can move on. And sometimes we do get a bit stuck. I do get a bit stuck. But then that's where I get my team. I've got my mastermind partner. I've got my coaches. I've got my mentors. And I've got my mindset coaches. Got my counselors. Got my healers. Got the team around me to support me. And without that, I just wouldn't be as far forward as I am, because they're the ones that motivate me and support me and challenge me, to get out of my own way. So Kathy, you got CBD. Make sure it's absolutely 100% high quality. High quality, biodynamic, organic, the best on the market. And test how much you need to take. Do the muscle testing, or find somebody to do that for you. So you're getting the right dosage, because sometimes some weeks it's more dosage. And don't just say I'm going to take 2 drops every single day for because each day will be different depending on your stress levels, your healing levels, the cells in your body, the white blood cells, the red blood cells, the free radicals. So every day before you take it, check that you're taking the right amount. Is it 2 drops today, or 3 drops today, or 5 drops today? Don't get into a rote around, don't get into a habit around that, because each day will be different for you. Each day will be different. The body's different every day. So check out what you need. What else do you need as well? So I use a bit of black salve, for my, I've got a couple of little lesions. I've done my nose a couple of times. On my leg, I've got one I've just removed, and I've done some black salving, and I've removed the core of the plug of the cancer that way. So there's a few alternatives. If you need to go and see a doctor, by all means, I'm not a doctor, so I'm not giving medical recommendations or medical advice, but just in terms of finding your own journey. So Shazza, if you want to contact me, I will give you the link to the person for that. So go to on the website Artaban, 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 and you can Google that, and you can connect up through the website of the Artaban. I think it's artaban.com or .com.au, but I can send you the link if you need that as well, for the CBD oil. I believe it's some of the best stuff produced in the country. It's biodynamic. It's also got other aspects added to it as well, like gold and myrrh, I think, or frankincense, and other healing aspects too with it. And it's really high grade. Like when I test it, energetically, it's really, really up there. That's why we use it, and that's why I support that particular company, because we've tested others. Not saying the others aren't good, but that's the one we found that is absolutely fantastic. And it's good for other things. It's good for stress. It's good for other aspects, not just cannabis. It's just a good healing. Cannabis oil is, healing on many, many, many levels. It's good for stress reduction. It's good for apparently Alzheimer's and other things like that, and seizures. Many, many, many. So much research now being done around the cannabis oil, and it's very low THC, which is really important. So you don't get high on it. It's just very, very powerful, and you don't have to, get high in the process, because it is quite low. So it's important to check these things out. So any other questions pertaining to where you're at right now in your life? Do you need any support or some answers to anything that's going on for you in terms of what's happening in your life right now, and how you want to take that forward into 2020? Where are you still maybe a bit stuck? What do you need to change? Like, we've had some questions around habits and addictions and food. I'm taking pawpaw, cell regen. Yep, and maroon bush as well. Well done. And that's what I say, we have to find the right thing for ourselves, because what's right for one person isn't right for another. That's why I never recommend a certain recipe for people. What I can do is say, we have found these have been good for us or for somebody we know, but you have to go and check that out for yourself. So I can give you the lead, but then you have to say, that's actually for me, it's not for me. Because as I said, that cancer journey is empowering, because it makes one make choices. It really does. And I've seen everything from really small carcinomas and really little tiny melanomas to huge big cancerous growths. And everybody's on their own individual journey. It's one thing I learned when I was working at the Gawler Foundation. It's an individual journey. It's not lung cancer or breast cancer or brain tumor. It's Adrian's cancer or Jane's cancer or Peter's cancer, because they're so individualized. No two cancer cells is the same. So I know it might be thyroid cancer, it might be brain tumor, it might be lymphatic, and they name it. But the fact that one has it means it's yours and it's individualized. And every cancer cell in there is individualized. No two cancer cells are the same. So we have to individualize the cancer and treat it individually, not generically. We can find some genericism around it, but mostly it's about finding the individuality in the journey. And that's the important part. How do I help my daughter who is going through a tough time with her partner? So she's tough time with partner, couple counseling. Full stop. Couple counseling, couple coaching, full stop. I work with couples all the time. And for me, it's like, you can't get this. If you're going through couple stuff, it's really hard to do it yourself. It really, really is hard. And parents getting involved is a bit tricky. So get in a professional, get them to book in for a session, name what's going on, what's the conflict. And usually 99.9% of all communication, relationship issues is communication issues. Have they learnt the basic communication skills? Are they putting aside time to communicate? Do they know how to communicate? Are they aware of the conflict and the tension in their communication? How is one communicating to the other? And that's a skill base. So it's back to teaching people how to communicate effectively. And, I do that in a whole process. Just working with some couples at the moment, and actually got a message from one of them yesterday on Christmas Day, and it was really heartwarming. It was a voice message from one of my current clients, and she said, I want to thank you because today on Christmas Day I'm having a beautiful day. I'm having a beautiful day with my partner, and I was really scared of going into this, but we did some work last week. We gave them some skills to communicate and to own their own stuff, and she had a beautiful day yesterday. So this is what we can do when we go into that professional space and get professional support. It's really, really, really important to do that. We can do it as parents. We can give some parental advice, but it's better to get that professional person who knows how to give people skills in a particular way so they're not offended, they're not triggered, particularly men working with men. It's a big challenge for most men to go into that relationship space to say, hey, there's something I need to change. Everything's okay with me. Nothing, that attitude is very potent and powerful in the male psyche, particularly working with a counselor or psychotherapist. The challenge, women are a little bit more easier in that space to go to that space because they recognize that, because they've had more of that with their female friends over the years. They do help each other and support each other. But for men, getting support can be a challenge. So it's about a gentle approach. It's not you're going to go and see a counselor. It's like you might want to go and see a relationship coach or somebody that helps with the relationship communication, rather than, hey, you need counselling. It doesn't really work with most men and probably a lot of women too. So just be a bit cautious on the message if you're going to give that message. But you might want to gift that. You might want to gift them a session and say, hey, look, I'm willing, if you want to help them, I want to gift you a session with Adrian. And just try them out for once. And if it doesn't work, walk away. But if it does work, yeah, I might give you a bit of support because I want to support you because I love you both. Yeah. So will my kids ever talk to me again? I don't know, Jeanette. I really don't know, because I'm not doing the psychic downloading. It's not healthy to do that for me. Because if I say, yeah, they're going to talk to you again and they don't, then I'm in the wrong. And if I say, yeah, no, they won't, and then they do, it's like, oh, Adrian wasn't right. So I don't do any of that at all. But what I do to you, Jeanette, is I will say to you, what are you doing to try and get that conversation happening? Have you done the letter writing? Yeah. What's in the way? Have you named what's in the way? Have you asked them why they're not talking? Are you clear about it? Where do you need to take responsibility? Where do they need to take responsibility? And you can still talk to them, and they can still talk to you. I'm sure they still talk to you, even if it's negative in their own head. So we can have a conversation, but if you want the physical conversation, what's the barrier? What needs to change? What are you asking for them? So get clear on the story. Will my kids ever talk to me again? It sounds like, there's more than one. So what's the story behind it? I've got 6 children, blended family, and we have issues around communication too, because I'm a human being as well. So what's my role in that? What's my role in that? How can I ask them to communicate with me a little bit more? What do I need to change my beingness and my stubbornness or my disconnect? What can I ask of them? And it might be a long journey. Sometimes it's a long journey. It really can be. I know this quite well, this space. One of my own children, we're a bit disconnected. And it's taking some time, taking some energy. And where do I go in? Where do I pull back? Where do I go in? Where do I pull back? What do I need to do to change? And I love the letter writing. Sometimes I get sent, sometimes I get written and burnt because I need to get it out of my system. And they do get sent. The cards do get sent. So it's a very delicate place, Gina. I'm with you on this one. I've got some of that stuff going on. So just tuning into it. What are the next steps? What's the visualization? What's the outcome you want? What's your plan? And then what are you going to put into action? So everything we do in life, VPA, vision, plan, action, we put it into everything. Relationships, business, vocational work. Relationships, what's my vision? I have a vision of what I want with my partner. Then I put things in the plans, and then I put it into actions. And sometimes I get it wrong. Sometimes I'm a nong. I say the wrong thing. I do the wrong thing. I'm not present enough, or whatever's going on, or I'm back in my childhood space. But I still have a vision of where we're going together, and I hold that, and I put the plan into place. And sometimes things get in the way. That 80-20 principle. 80% of the time is fantastic, and 20% of the time I'm a nong and it doesn't work, or what, blah 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 blah, or she's a nong. But the 80% vision is still there. That's strong. That holds. So we have to get the clarity on the vision, and then the plan, and then the action. Okay. So I have reconnected with my son after 10 years. Well done. Well done, Chatter. So any other questions? Oh, here we go. I missed one down here. Kathy, how do you muscle test to see how much one needs? So Kathy, muscle testing is a little bit of a skill, takes a bit of practice. So there's a few different ways. You can do the traditional kinesiology where you lock the arm and you do the testing. So it's called an arm lock. So when it goes weak, yep, it means it's not usually in alignment. And when it's strong, yep. So this is a practice. So if you need to practice, find somebody who's a kinesiologist to teach you, or if you have a session with me and I can teach you how to do that. The other one is the lock fingers. So this is my yes is my strong, and my weak is it breaks. Or you can do this one where you go, yeah, it's strong, or it's weak and it lets go. So for instance, I'll walk into a health food shop and I'm looking for vitamin C, and they've got 5 different varieties. And one of them will be better for me in that moment, than any of the others. So I pick it up, yep, and I do my muscle test. Oh, that's not quite strong, or that might be, that's about, quite strong. And then the next one, no, it's no good. Next one, no, it's no good. Then the last one is, whoa, that's really strong energetic. It's not breaking my seal. So that's my product. It's not about, sometimes it's about price, but usually for me, it's not. It's like, that's the best one for me. And sometimes the best one's actually the cheapest. It's not always the most expensive. So muscle test. Fruit shop, going to fruit shop, if it's not organic, which is the best non-organic fruit to me that I want to buy now? If I need a pawpaw and I can't find an organic one, and there's 100 of them in front of me, I'm not going to go through 100 obviously. I'm going to find the one that I pick up and go, oh, that's actually okay. That's got a better energy for me. So you can do it that way. The other thing, I'm just going to jump up and show you something. So the other one is you can use a pendulum. And a pendulum is a little bit of a skill as well. So I've got to say this because it's so funny. People say to me, what's the pendulum telling me, Adrian? I say, well, the pendulum doesn't talk. But what it does, it shows an outward expression of what you already know. So what you do, you put the pendulum into motion. Start always in motion, which is backwards and forwards. And then you train it, and you train the pendulum to go, for me, my clockwise is yes. My clockwise is yes. And then I put it back into motion, and my anti-clockwise is no, and then I do it again, and I make sure I go, well, clockwise is my yes, and anti-clockwise is my no. So I train the pendulum to tune into my subconscious mind, to my intuition, and then I'll say, right now, is it in my best interest to take vitamin C? Oh, actually, yes, it is. I better take some after the show. And then I say, right, I've got, mine's 500 gram capsules. How many capsules would it be worth me taking? What's for me? So I go 1, 2, 3, No, it doesn't go to 3, so I will take 2. So you can do that. And it might be, how many Panadol would I take right now for my headache? Well, there's no for me because I don't do Panadol. So it's but how many glasses of water should I be taking right now? Because I'm a bit dehydrated. I feel it because I haven't had a glass of water for 1, 2, 3, 4. So quite a lot of water. Like it's telling me I'm quite dehydrated. So you can use the pendulum as well. Yeah. So there's a few different ways, and you have to train yourself to use that. And it's very effective. It's very powerful. Kinesiologists use it all the time. And then they have lists. We have Arlene's work is what she does energetically. She does muscle testing all the time. She's got lists and charts and is working out what's the best thing for us physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and all other aspects. So we test products. We test the physical body. Is it good for me to do this or do that? And if you get into that trust space, if you're just open-minded and use the muscle testing or the pendulum, it's really, really powerful. Yeah, I do it in business. I do business consultations, and I often will use the pendulum for what is the best font for you right now? What's the best color for your business card right now? What's the best this? What's the best that? What's the best system for you right now? And we can test it. And what I love about muscle testing is the person feels it. With the pendulum, it's like, oh, Adrian, you're moving that. But when it's muscle testing and they feel I'm pushing down as hard as I can and it's still locked, and then a very lightly touch and it collapses, they go, oh, I feel that. I believe that now because I'm feeling it. So hopefully that's answered your question, Kathy. And so I can teach you to that, I can help you do that. And if you're on the Gold Coast and you want to, come and see and have a one-on-one session, or if I'm in your area wherever you're living, that can happen as well. But I'm very happy to teach you in that space. What everybody can do is, if you want to, jump onto my website, adrianhanks.com. There are some freebies on there, like this, and there's some videos and all sorts of different things on there, different connections to different sites. But you can also book in for a free 20-minute consultation with me. Yeah, free 20-minute consultation with me. And I think on there, I put today out, I think, but I think it starts tomorrow or Saturday. And you can book in throughout the day, 20-minute consultation. Then if there's a rapport, if you want to do more with me, we'll lock you in for a session or 2 sessions, or you can come online and do my online 12-week program with me, or something else, or come and do a workshop. But if you want to do that 20-minute consultation, so this is a good connection. You can hear me, we can connect. But if you want to go to that next level down the rabbit hole, 20-minute session with me, or if you want to just skip that and go straight to a one-on-one 1-hour session with me, you can book in and do that as well. Give me a call. And then there's other things I can support you with. Because it's all about visualizing their planning, then taking action. And as I said before, you get the coaching, get the psychotherapy, get the work done. 1, it happens a bit quicker. Usually 2, it happens a bit more streamlined, with less stuff going on the periphery. And it's a nice feeling to get achievement, to actually feel like you're getting somewhere. And that's the beautiful thing about the coaching. So, will my kids ever talk to me again? We've been down that one. I have reconnected. Okay, thank you. Very interesting. I use a pendulum. Great, Kathy. So, same then, Kathy. If you're doing pendulum, it's the same as muscle testing. Yep, same. But just make sure you're really clear about it, and you're not forcing that pendulum in some way because of a subconscious patterning or a fear. Yeah. So that's why sometimes do the pendulum on yourself, but get somebody else to do it on you. Yep. I do it on myself sometimes, and I go, oh, maybe that was my saboteur. Yeah. So it's good doing it on somebody else, but if you want somebody to test on you, I'd suggest also get somebody to test on you as well, just to double check. Okay. Because the subconscious mind can play games. Yeah. The saboteur can play games. The mind is powerful. And it's easy to go, is in my best interest now? And of course, yes, but that could be the ego. So just make sure you're really in alignment if you're going to do work by oneself. So, if it's just picking fruit, it's different. But if it's deep stuff, my suggestion is maybe just get somebody else to test it for you and work with you. And so if you want the absolute 100% specialist in that arena, that's my wife, Arlene, who's a life alignment practitioner of over 20 years. Excellent at her job, beautiful lady to work with, but also I do the same. So there's a bit of a choice. If you need feminine energy to work with, my wife, if you want to work with me, then do make that connection as well, because we love to work in that space. So, aware of time, about 10 minutes left of the show. So any other questions? Let me sit back and have another drink. Oh, somebody said before, big cup. I'll let you into a secret. This is my small cup. I have some really big ones. So it looks big on the screen. It is quite big. but I've got a couple of supersized ones as well. And it's quite funny what I do. I make myself a coffee. I've got a coffee grinder. I've got the beans, organic, beautiful, fresh, and grind them up. I did that this morning, and I make a cup. And then I tend to leave it about half full, so I go back in the kitchen. I'll top it up with a bit of water, and then I'll leave another quarter cup. So during the day, I might top this up about 4 or 5 times, the same cup of coffee, and I get laughed at in the house for that. It's quite a funny little habit I have, but it's a funny one. It's not a negative habit. So I do like to have a coffee in the morning, but I do make sure it's a clean cup of coffee whenever possible. Obviously, if I go to a cafe and it's not organic, there's not much I can do with it, but try to do as organic as possible with my milks and my honeys and coffees and teas and all those different things, because it's about choice. It's about choosing to put the things into this container, into this body, into this temple to the best of my ability. Conscious eating, conscious drinking. And it's really important to do that. Sort of going back to the beginning of the show where we're talking about that. When I'm in the shop, when I'm in the supermarket, and making sure what goes in there is clean and it's good for me, not just junk food. And I say this often. I go to if you go into Woolies, if you're a Woolies shop and you go in to buy your fruit and veggies and you're buying your tins of beans and tins of asparagus and different things, different beans and lentils, and you go down that supermarket aisle, they do a one called Macro, and they grow for Woolies, and it's all organic, and sometimes the Macro is even cheaper than the non-organic. And people still, right next to the organic one, will take the non-organic because it's become a habit, because mum did it and grandmother did it, and we've always bought Edgels or we've always bought this one. But just stop and think, is there a better product in my range? Is there a better product in my range? If you buy spaghetti, why don't you get the organic one? Sometimes cheaper, like $2 a pack. If you're getting flour, why not get the organic one? It's tastier, it's healthier, it's not full of pesticides and weedicides and poisons. So just stopping and thinking. Stopping and thinking. And do I really need that extra packet of chips? Do I really need that extra bar of chocolate? Can I go and get some organic chocolate? I know you pay more, but it actually tastes nicer. It's better. Ice cream. Can you get the really clean, good, and non-preservative ice creams? All those different things. If you stop and think, and you're willing to, you can actually find it. But it's about choice. Yeah. What is in store for me 2020? Gwen, what a question. What would you like me to tell you? Would you like me to say, Gwen, you're going to buy a scratchy tomorrow. You're going to win $100,000. You're going to go to Hawaii for a fortnight. You're going to meet the partner of your life. What would you like me to say? Because I'm not going to do it for you. I'm not going to disempower you. Because what I want to do is empower you, Gwen, to make your own vision. What do you want to create for 2020? What do you want to create? What's your vision? Get really clear on it. Physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. Go and download the journal and understand the 10 aspects of life. The 10 aspects of life. Which of these would you like to improve in 2020? All of them, one of them, several of them? Get clear on your own vision. Write your vision, draw your vision, get your vision board. I'll just take you up now. I'm just going to move and just show you my own room. This is the office I work in. So I'm just going to move I've got a green screen for when I'm on Zoom, and here's my vision board. My vision board's there, and then I've got my writing on here, and that's my vision board. And just behind my door, down here, I've got my 2019-2020 vision all typed out. All down here, and I've got my beautiful affirmation here. And over here, I'm just going to show you my room. This is my my altar. So I've always got a candle on the go. Didgeridoos. It's about getting clear on that vision. So vision boarding, writing your vision. Getting clear on. Then you'll know what 2020 has in store for you, because you'll be creating it. You'll be putting out to the universe saying, this is what I want. And that's powerful. Because then you can say, I actually chose my pathway through 2020. I created my own reality. Because it's very disappointing if you want something and somebody tells you you're going to get something and it doesn't come. It can be very disappointing, very disillusional. But if we create the vision and then we put the plan into action to get it, and that's vision boarding and meditating and writing your vision, and then actually going out and connecting with the very things you need. If you want a new car, go and find the right car you want. Like, I'm quite clear on the car I want to get in 2020. Visualize it. Go to the showroom and look at it. Create it in visualization through meditation. All those different things. And at some point the universe will conspire to give it to you. Maybe not in the perfect way, but in the right way for you. And that's how we create. So that's what's in store for you, Gwen. What's in store for you is what you create, what you want, what you need. I'd suggest is a better way. So visualize it, plan it, and then put it into action. Have you done a vision board? I will be doing a vision boarding in a week or so for those that want to jump on board. Yeah, I'll be doing a vision board, a whole online workshop. So I'll be putting that in the next couple of days. So I love visualizing the clarity to go forward, and then helping people on that journey, using the vision board in a specific way to make it useful. Because it's not about just getting a magazine and cutting pictures out and sticking on a board and leaving it and not connecting to it. That's actually, 90% of people who do vision boarding do that. Oh, I've got a vision board at home. Okay, how many times a day do you connect to it? What specifics about it? Do you know the energy flow it? Have you got do you really understand what you're actually doing with it? Or is it just a case of, stick a picture on it, put it on the wall, and at the end of the year, you look at it and go, how many of those things actually happened? Well, not really well, because there was a disconnect. You didn't do the psychotherapeutic work to unblock the blockages and to deal with the sabotage patterns and all those other things that get in the way. So vision boarding is, for me, quite specific. Been doing it for many, 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 many years. Been visioning for many years, and I've got a specific way of working with that includes a psychotherapeutic process. Because what I've learned over the years is it doesn't work without it. It's very ineffective. Very ineffective unless it works in that way. Then people get disillusioned. Vision boarding. You must have watched The Secret and it doesn't work. Well, it didn't work because you didn't engage. You just did the 101 version, and it doesn't really work. And that's, it just doesn't. So you have to go down the rabbit hole with it and understand it and work with it. So Gwen, I hope that helps you. Okay, I'd rather say that to you and get you inspired and to get you motivated and get you happening than say, I think this is going to happen for you, I feel this is going to happen for you, or my guide is telling me this is going to happen for you. It's not the way I operate. I know there's others that do, and that's fine, and that's their journey, but it's not how I operate on this show. So I hope that helps, and I hope it's empowered you to find your own journey, because that's what this is all about, is getting your life mastery. So hi, Catherine. Hi to you. So any other last minute question, because we've got like 2 minutes left of the show, and then I'm going to go back and put my feet up and watch some test cricket, because that's what I love doing on Boxing Day. It's my relaxed day. So apart from this, today is my relaxed day, but I feel relaxed in this process because I love helping people. But my website is adrianhanks.com. Go and all the pages, have a look, all the coaching, the counseling, the tours I do, the Africa tour I do, the new economic evolution of the world work I do in terms of, getting some economics and financial education in your life. There's many different things in there to help. Good, I'm glad it does, Gwen. Because I really want to empower you. I really want you to get on track with yourself. So Gwen, just take a moment, and everybody take a moment. Let's end with this. We've got about 2 minutes left. Let's just take a moment for those still on the show listening live, and for those listening into the recordings. If you're listening into this bit, just give yourself a moment to stop and be still. And we're on the 26th of December for most. And we've got about a week left at the end of the year. And I want you to get a sense of 2020. Get a sense of 2020. What's the one thing you'd love to achieve in 2020? Above all else. Physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, financially, in relationship, or whatever's going on. And I want you to write it down. If you can do it right now, write it down now. But if not, when in a moment, go and grab a pen and write it down. What's your vision? What do you want to create for 2020? I've already told you mine. Get my book published and get my game done. They're two big ones. I've got about 5 different things, but they're my main ones. So that's my vision. And then I'm getting the plan. Yeah, then I'm getting the plan. And then I have my action stage. And my action plan includes getting my team, getting my mastermind partner on board, getting the team on board to help me to publish my book, my editor, the publisher. My game, it means getting somebody to make the game, getting my lawyer to do all the legalities for me, and then making the plan of how we're going to execute that plan and putting it out there into the world. So it's a big job, but it's all visualize, plan, and action. Yeah, and it takes work, but it starts with a vision. So what do you want to do for 2020? So Alison, you're asking a question. Will I study again in the new year? If you choose to. Are you choosing to study? You're not choosing to study. It's not up to me to say that's disempowering. Oh yeah, you're going to go and study. That's Alison, make your mind up. Do you want to study? And if you do, what's your vision? What do you want to study? What's your plan? Where do you need to go? What does you need to study? How many hours? How much time? How much energy? How much money? That's the plan. When you're going to do it? How you're going to do it? And then you go, well, I've got my vision. I've got my plan. Now I'm going to take action. But you'll study if you want to study. And if you want to study and you don't, it means you've got some story going on. I'm not good enough, or I can't do it, or the sabotage is in play, or there's an excuse. So create the vision for yourself, Alison. Create the vision. Do you want to study? And if so, what do you want to study? Make a vision board. Write it up. Do some coaching. Do some mentoring. Seriously, if you want to get ahead in 2020, contact me and book me in for the coach for the year. Just had somebody book in for 10 months with me. Going to do a 10-month journey with me to create, their art, to get their art out in the world, because they've got some blockages around it, because they need some planning around it, some business planning, some psychotherapeutic planning, some mindset planning. So she said, hey, look, I know this is going to take till October. We've actually got an event happening in October. The lady wants to be at this event, and she wants to be stepping into that event in that energy. So we've got 10 months to do it, 2 sessions a month. 20 sessions over the next 10 months, and she will get there. She'll find it because she's got a vision. And then we're putting a plan together. Then my job is to keep the action going. So that's the importance of coaching and mentoring and psychotherapeutic work. So Alison, choose your study, go and do your study, VPA. And for everybody else on here, I hope you have got something from today. So Merry Christmas, Happy Boxing Day. And I will be here again next Thursday, which I believe will probably be is that New Year's Day, start of a new year. So very exciting times. If you want to connect with me, adrianhanks.com, book in for your free 20-minute consultation, or just book in for a straight session up front with me. Look at my fees and times and everything on my website. And I wish you many blessings. And I really hope that 2020 is going to be very, very special for you. So namaste, blessings, take care.